Hi. So last week there was an amazing opportunity for a breakthrough. And one being actually got in touch with me who said, I blew up with my partner, and it was like for the first time in many, many years, and it was many, many years overdue. So I saw it as a fabulous thing. Now that energy that showed last week, that came through, this week, that energy kind of showed where people were at their impossible final limits. There wasn't so much a breakthrough as an increased build-up that actually went to, it's impossible, can't do it anymore, I want to quit. It was just so done. And the patterns that showed up from it were quite extraordinary because they were very deep, core to our being expression in life that are what we hold to because it's so valuable. But when we looked at it, there's no doubt that it's valuable. Not valuable if you're not included in that pattern. So there were two particular beings this week that really highlighted that sense of always loving, always considering others and doing that loving aspect, which was the beginning of the week. And the very end came up with someone who's so well managed that regardless the situation, there is a process of finding the way to actually be able to manage the situation. But in that managing, the missing piece again was, how does that sit with you? How is that true with you? How does that work for you? Or are you constantly holding the peace, holding the love, holding the okayness? And much as there is a strong identification with that process, they were still missing in it. So that's a very deep, long invisibility while you still feel connected to how beautiful that is. There was also a sense of this energy creating more and more looking into what could go wrong, what do I need to look at, what do I have to consider, what am I missing out on here that may or may not cause damage. And to have the energy go in that direction is also an energy that moves away from you. It's not centered to you, you're outside of yourself. And the depth, again, that these beings could go to for others, in a way I can't even find words for, to tell you the truth. But when it goes into polarity, to extreme polarity, digging to the depth of something and going to the heights of what that could bring about into the middle, you kind of lose the middle and you kind of lose yourself. You end up in a spin of your own making that you can't get out of. And there was a sense of peace with these ones. And one was actually balancing to, I can relax. Because that was totally missing. There's so much activity in it. Where's the center point, that sense of sovereignty? And that actually leads into a being that came who is standing in impossibility. Her task, her work, her love, her connection to it is literally standing what would feel like impossibility. But with this being standing there, the grace in that position is so valuable. Now, someone in the organisation kept saying, revise that again, I know it can be done better. And then that was repeated. And in the process of that trigger of feeling unworthy and not good enough when I give so much and beyond what, I can't do this anymore. And in looking at it properly, there was a sense of they could see there was more in them that could come out. It was like there was a sense of, I'm voting for how magnificent you are and what more you can bring out. But it wasn't read that way. And the interesting point in this particular session was that the cards that were pulled before the sessions began for the weekend were peace and growth. And what showed up for this being was very much, now that you feel like you can't do it anymore, and please, like that prayer, please take this chalice away from me. Please don't say I need to do this. Just let me know that it's okay if I stop here. And that's the very time where that growth takes place. It's the same as muscle building, to take the repetitions to that point of failure is kind of where the growth really starts to happen. And it basically showed her that this is the very point where growth is possible. And if you quit here and you go somewhere else that's more relaxed, and it takes a long time to get to that opportunity of growth again, like a top opportunity here to see yourself, to see the magnificence of her capacity and the brilliance that is seen by all who see her in her position to begin with. And then what's really pivotal also for this week's sharing is to put a plan in place. Have a plan so that the week is more doable, that there is a moment of taking a breath. Because last week was stop or take a pause. It can be a breath. And that showed up this week again, where when dealing with, say, posture, and a posture that has gone way beyond what would appear repair, there is a moment of consciousness where you can check into your posture and put certain things in place, and then moving is completely different. It's just a moment of pause and consciousness to reflect on the posture. And then, of course, correcting the bits and pieces, so that became easier and easier through the session. But it took a pause. Some of the pressure built up to such an extent, it felt like a tsunami, literally a tsunami. And again, I can't do this. I cannot see myself staying with this. And when seen properly, the majority of the tsunami was a nothing. It's just we can lock ourselves into things that become so big, like a tsunami. We can't see the trees for the forest. And then it was seen the things that did need to be responded to, and how, again, holding the space in the circumstance, the value of that, to just stay with it because it will fall into place. To be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel makes it not bearable, but so doable. Because when you can see that, a plan can be put into place. So the last one I want to share was interesting, and I think we can all relate to it to some extent. It is this depth of silence in which no movement takes place. And it becomes so familiar that inactivity becomes the norm other than what we have to do. And there was a feeling here that I'm just not feeling like myself, because there was the essentials and stuck in a place where it was viewed as if the outside world was the problem. And these threads of inner peace can run in generations, like that non-active, non-movement, you need firecrackers under your bum to get it going energy. And even though there may be firecrackers under the bum to get it moving, unless there's a plan in place, it'll move you once. And there is this inertia that goes so deep. And then sitting and working out the circumstances in life, the situations in life where plans can be made and where life shows up. Because, as one in that meeting actually said, life begins now. It begins now. What can we do? What can we plan? And it literally is getting a planner and writing down when we have time together and what we can plan there, and we can research. There's always so much going on that we can share in, or regular book clubs, regular choirs, regular classes, regular walks, regular making our dinner more interesting. So much can come alive where that activity finds a sense of discipline, and it needs a planner to put that discipline in place. So basically, every session had a way of seeing and a plan in place of what you can go to. One, in fact, was triggered to such an extent, and understandable given the past, but not something you want to keep repeating over and over and over again, like, I just want life to stop. And that kind of was a theme that everybody, I just wanted to stop, I want to rest. And some were so in rest they couldn't move, and they wanted it to stop, but they couldn't understand it was the activity that was needed, not more rest, for it to just pass. And one being that I was saying, oh my God, the circumstance and situation that is being dealt with by her whole family. And there was like this prayer sent out, you know, where is this rest? Where is this rest? And I actually started to smile. I've got quite a black sense of humour, because the answer came back, said, you're dead for a very long time, you'll be doing lots of rest then. Which is the point in case here. To find the peace in whatever meets you, and to see it, address it with a plan that includes you and your capacity, not the impossibility, but the capacity in which you can meet it. And the amount of growth that we do, one incident after another. And joy is a growth as well. To go out when you weren't going to go out, and the joy, and to start growing a muscle for joy. So peace and growth were so there this week. And some of you no doubt will have gone through that growth and made new moves and done things that are like a breakthrough, in the hope that another will come, and another will come, and another will come. And there are benchmarks that we go through. And the more often we go through them, the more often we find a sense of a pause to relax, to see it, make a plan, and grow. That's how plants grow. That's how muscles grow. That's how we grow. So the card of peace. Relax. Slow down. Meditate, be peaceful. You do not have to fix everything right now. Not this minute. But it may be the time to resolve your inner conflicts and create peace. Make a plan. Take time to peacefully be with yourself without any external noise. There was so much external noise. Or the hustle and bustle of everyday life, which does feel like a tsunami for many. Be gentle and peaceful in your communications. Do not force the issue, like quit. Neither can you try to create peace. You must simply allow it. Growth. All movement is growth, but it is movement. Acknowledge your growth, and as you do so, you will find your pathway changes and expands. Do not judge it. You have grown beyond old directions, so perhaps you are ready to create something new. Enjoy.